Also in the FA Cup, I think we need to give them their flowers. Wrexham
FC.
The team that I don't know how to properly categorize them without like sounding either fanboyish or like patronizing, but a team that's only relevant because of who their owners are. I think that's a fair synopsis, right?
Yeah,
It's
incredibly
it's
fair.
Deadpool and the guy from Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
That's
Ryan-
it's running
it's
this
Mac.
club.
Yeah, it's Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney.
Rob
McElhenney.
McElhenney. Wow,
Yeah.
I thought I wasn't going to be the only It's Always Sunny fan in this room, but I guess I am.
No.
It's okay.
Well, I didn't want to butcher his last name.
It's fine. No,
it's
you did a
Mac L.
You got
something.
it. You
Yeah.
got it.
Hey,
Yeah.
thanks, James.
You did a great
Always here for you.
Come
But yeah,
on.
a really thrilling 3-3 draw against Sheffield United. It looked like for a second that Wrexham, a team that plays in one of the lowest divisions of English soccer, was going to knock off Sheffield, who are in the championship in the Premier League as recent as last year. Winner of this tie, this replay, which will occur next week, gets Tottenham Hotspur at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It would be the most Spurs thing ever to lose to Wrexham. I think
Yes.
that would be, nothing short of standard operating procedure for Tottenham Hotspur, just because we know that they can't win anything ever.
Wow.
But I think when, the sporting world, I don't know how we want to frame this discussion, James, but a team like Wrexham gaining so much popularity because, their owners are superstars. Superstars, excuse me. Yeah, I guess superstars.
Yeah.
Pop star.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
What's movie stars? I don't know.
Movie TV stars.
Pop culture icons. There we go.
There you go.
I think that this, bodes well, and I don't want to make this an MLS discussion, but bodes well for the MLS and bodes well for soccer in terms of seeing from a point of view of not only it being like, oh, this is cool because these guys are involved, but also this is how you can cultivate a team, like as investment opportunities. Because if they make it to face Spurs, the amount of money they're going to receive from the FA is going to be ridiculous in the 5th round.
Mm-hmm.
But also I think that, with the leadership that's in Wrexham, it's been a documented rise. FX does a show on it. I think that it's really invigorated the passion of casual U.S. soccer fans, maybe not even soccer fans themselves, but to see, like, we grew up with the institutions of, Jets, Mets, Yankees, all these teams. I don't think anyone in the United States has felt, maybe MLS expansions or the MLS itself, but for a lot of American sports fans, they don't know the struggle that a club has to go through to build themselves from the ground up. And Wrexham is doing a good job of like showing that. And it's getting people invested in soccer, which is always relevant and always, something positive for U.S. soccer fans here. But the 3-3 draw was an absolute thriller. I don't want to take anything away from that game. Paul Mullen scores in the 86th minute. Ryan Reynolds looked like he's about to cry. And then John Egan equalizes in the 95th minute of stoppage time. And it's the duality of sport, because 1 minute you're at your highest of highs, next minute he looks like he's about to throw up. It will be replayed next week. I think everyone's pulling for Wrexham. Tough day to be a Blades fan over in Sheffield, because most everyone wants Wrexham to go through. But all in all, a thrilling FA Cup tie, and kind of, as you said, we're not the biggest FA Cup podcast, but it's kind of the beauty of the FA Cup. You get these matchups that see Wrexham go toe-to-toe with a team that was just in the Premier League, and it's like, oh, soccer can be equal across playing fields when the passion is there and when the belief is there.
Yeah, this is why we love this game. This is why it's stories like these is why we fall in love with the sport. I do think we haven't gotten a chance to talk about Wrexham on this on the podcast yet. I do think Wrexham has been a great thing for soccer in America. I'm glad you mentioned it's a good thing for MLS because it brings attention to U.S. soccer in a cool way. I think what I have to give Rob McElhenney and Ryan Reynolds credit for is that they highlighted a community with a lot of history and a lot of passion, and they invested in it. And that's a lot of what soccer investment is at the lower level in countries in Europe. And I think we're starting to mirror like that in America. Lower leagues are growing, not to the scale of Europe by any measure, but I think we can say you look at grassroots soccer communities they're everywhere in America and they're growing. You look at what the growth of USL Championship, USL League 1, USL League 2 are blowing up like crazy. The NPSL is a big deal in terms of when they get to the championship. FC Motown, shout out Morristown, New Jersey. They won national champions. Anyway, the point is the FA Cup does bring about a magic to it, and it highlights stories like Wrexham, who otherwise wouldn't be highlighted if they didn't also have a documentary and were owned by pop culture icons, as you put it. With that said, though, there has come like this sort of rift on Twitter and just online soccer community spaces between people saying the reason why Wrexham is so successful is because they have all these community hot stories connected to them. Meanwhile, in American soccer, we don't have that. I think that's like a false equivalence. Obviously, the history to soccer in Europe is always going to be more vast than what we have in America because it predates it. But to say that there's an inauthenticity in American soccer fandom and in American soccer culture is, I find disingenuous. And I think that you look at any team, not just in Major League Soccer, but all the way down the ladder to semi-professional, even in this country, there's history and there's passionate people involved supporting the clubs. And I think that's something that we should hopefully take away from a show like Welcome to Wrexham and from what we're seeing from a team like Wrexham. Be excited, root for them, root for this small community as they try to take on Goliath, and they're just a small Vanarama National League 5th Division team in England. But I think we can look at this and take examples from this in the United States and say, invest in your own community here and see what it could mean to people, see how could it uplift and bring people together. Instead of saying, well, MLS is bad for this reason, this is why people don't like MLS. Well, instead of saying this is why, contribute to your own community and let's see this growth and that you want it to come in this country. But with that, to go back to the match, because I just to highlight that about Wrexham specifically in general, to highlight about the match, it was an incredible game. This is drama that you wouldn't believe doesn't happen in a lot of games.
Is it better than the World Cup final?
No.
It's the same.
No. I mean, I'm trying to take out the nuance of the game and pure just football. It still wasn't a better game than the World Cup final.
Yeah.
With that said, though, the 95th minute equalizer, the red card in the second half, Paul Mullen pulling ahead with just 5 minutes left plus stoppage time is crazy stuff. And that's like, he's the main man for Wrexham if you've seen the show, if you follow the team even a little bit.
He's the top goal scorer of the FA Cup.
He's the top scorer in the FA Cup across all the Well, they do have the advantage of playing in all the early rounds,
yeah.
but that still counts for something. And we were mentioning before the show started, like, is this Wrexham team, are they like terrible? Are they good? What's the real deal? If you're not entirely familiar with the team, they are certainly above the standards of the National League. They spend way much more money now that they have it in the 5th division, but they would probably be mid-table to nearing the top of the table in League 2, which is the 4th division. So to have gotten a draw against Sheffield United 3-3 is a massive result. Sheffield United were in the Premier League just 2 seasons ago. This is a big result when you take away the 95th minute heartbreaker. But now that they have to go to Sheffield to play, I don't think they're going to get the result. I don't want to, be a party pooper about this all, but the home support was really crucial at the racetrack. They really had the whole community behind them. It was an unbelievable atmosphere, as you would expect. I'm sure they're going to have a great traveling atmosphere there to Sheffield, but again, without the bulk of the home support behind them, I don't know how they're going to be able to overcome the odds in this one.
I think to many older English fans, they prefer the FA Cup than the Premier League because the FA Cup is the oldest association football tournament, I think, in English football in history.
Yeah,
in the world.
It's not the longest continuous, but it's the oldest, and I think, like you said, a lot of people appreciate it because the league structure wasn't always there.
There's a lot of stories where these older fans said that you couldn't see like a 4th round proper or 5th round proper on television. It was only the final. Yeah. So like to see something like that, I mean, it's the beauty of the FA Cup. And I think one exciting thing that I saw, something that was pretty cool, was that the NFC Championship was playing in Philadelphia, and Rob McElhenney was actually there. He was tailgating with some Philly fans there, and they were watching the Wrexham game while Ryan Reynolds was going crazy, Wrexham.
What a legend.
So that's something cool to see too, to see like American fans, and to see like how beautiful it's the FA Cup. Wrexham was just winning 3-2. There was like 4 minutes left of time, and then the equalizer just came in the last minute, and that's when everybody just went like, wow, like they're not playing extra time. They're like, no, they play a replay, another match away at Sheffield United. But I think what Ryan Reynolds and Rob Henny did, I mean, I haven't seen any of the episodes yet, but like to see like the gym, the pitch, some of the stadiums, it's a lot of work to be an owner. I mean, you see like owners, come and go. It's difficult, especially in the Premier League. It's difficult to manage a Premier League club. But I don't know. I want to give my predictions of this game. I don't think it's going to be a good game from Wrexham. Definitely the atmosphere can get to you as a player. So I think Sheffield actually is going to win this game. But you never know, because it is the beauty of
the magic of the FA Cup.
The magic of the FA Cup. So do you want to give some score predictions? Because I'm going to go 2-0 Sheffield.
Yeah, I was going to say you know what? I'll say Wrexham could nick a goal away, but I'll go 3-1 Sheffield. I don't think they're going to have enough to combat them away from home.
4-3 Wrexham.
Ooh.
Somebody on the pod's got to.
Yeah, you got to back the boys.
Is someone writing the script for this FA Cup tie
for the next season of the show?
Next season of the show to win the FA Cup, because last season, the last season for them, they lost in Wembley.
Just barely missed on promotion
in
in the playoffs. It was a rough season for them. Just one more quick thing before we move on. If the idea of the FA Cup excites you and you don't want to go to England to watch it, there's an American version called the U.S. Open Cup that's been running for 109 years.
Their Twitter account was on a heater.
Yeah.
Like, this exists here too.
The U.S. Open Cup it's one of the most historic competitions.
The US Open Cup.
One of the most magical.
The magic of the
Sacramento
US Open
Republic
Cup.
second division team went to the final last year. They came up short, but second division team won 08 Rochester Raging Rhinos. I mean, there's so much history there. 109 years. They ran straight for 107 until the pandemic. They played through World War II. That's something the FA Cup didn't even do. So just
they were
saying.
getting bombed.
Well, and we were in the war too. All right, the U.S. was in the war.
All right.
Our best men were off overseas.
We get World War II.
But all the soccer players stayed home. That's just how dedicated American soccer history is.